Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Angelica and I am with Love Letters to Milo. So today we're going to be painting sunsets, which is kind of a little different from like all my previous videos, but I had posted these sunsets on Instagram a while back and I promised I was going to do a video and I never got the chance to do it, but so now is the time to do it. And it is going to be with a little bit of a different technique. I am going to be using a wet on dry technique, which is just pigment on paper. Like there's no pre-water put or anything. So it's really simple, but I will show you a step-by-step on how to paint these. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Love Letters to Milo. And don't forget to subscribe. I try to put in a video almost every week and different techniques and not just flowers, but also try to post different things like today. So I'm gonna start with the process and I'll explain materials and all as I'm going through the process. So stay with me and let's get started. This is how I am going to start this painting. So I have Arches watercolor paper that it's rough, so it's cold press. And what I do is I just fold it and then I break it into smaller pieces. Like I have a pre-folded piece right here and I just fold it and break it. I don't really use scissors or X-Acto knives or anything. So I just kind of do this and now I have two. So then I also have kind of clean water. It's not sparkly clean, but it's fine. Then these are the colors that I'm going to be using. It is like a red pink, a orange, yellow, and indigo kind of color. And I am going to use this like little palette paper. It's kind of like a very glossy paper. It's just called palette paper. Let me see. Palette. So what I did, I just previously made very watered down, like pigment, and I just have it ready. And I just kind of do that and just have it a little bit more water. Just kind of have it ready. So like I explained before, I'm going to put this to the side. Like I explained before, I am not adding any water to this paper. So it is a wet on dry technique. And I'm just going to start applying. It's like a layering process. So I am also going to be using, for this particular technique, I like using this brush. It is a Resable, made in Japan by Holbein. And it's a Series 500A. It's an angled brush and it's a size number 2. I like that it's angled because of the way that I'm going to show you the way that I lay down the paint. I like it to be a little directional, so I'll show you the ones that I painted already. So they have I sort of painted it very horizontal direction kind of. So this is a very pastel looking one. I painted these with different colors, but for all intents and purposes these colors are fine. And then I painted a more intense version of it. So basically for this one, I just add a lot more water to the pigment. And then for this one, less water and more pigment. So this is what I'm going to try to imitate this as close as possible. But no two things are the same. I have a whole bunch of these that I just I kept doing the same thing over and over again. So none of these are the same to one another. So I just kind of try to imitate it and see where it takes me. So Okay, so I'm just gonna start. It's a little nerve-wracking because, you know, you don't want to mess it up. But that's okay. So I'm just gonna start with the like pink kind of color as kind of the base, and I just want to keep it very watered down. So I'm just gonna just kind of go for it, like in a horizontal just kind of motion, just kind of do little dabs like that. Then I'm going to clean my brush with the water, and I'm going to start adding yellow, and hopefully it's a very watered down yellow, like I want to keep it very soft. Now with just a clean brush, like it's just water, I kind of soften out the edges. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of orange. Also, it's very watered down, so it gives me a pastel kind of look. A little more orange, maybe here. Then I am just gonna add a little bit of indigo to just kind of give it like contrast, and maybe now I'm like turning the brush that way. I'm just kind of winging it really, like, so I'm just gonna dry my brush on just clean paper, just kind of dry it, and that way you can like dry brush basically. So you kind of pick up a little bit of ink and give it a little bit of a horizontal brush look. Now I'm gonna clean my brush. I'll give you guys a closer angle so you can see in detail what I'm doing. Okay, so we're just gonna continue. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this pink, because it's a little bit too faded. It's basically, I'm just at this point layering colors. And now with like a dry brush, I'm gonna just clean my brush and dry it. And I'm just gonna like go over it and give it a little bit of a it almost looks like kind of wind a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the dry brush. And since the paint is a little bit wet still, then it just kind of helps. Then it's looking a little spotty, so I'm just gonna add maybe a little bit of orange. So at this point, I'm kind of working wet on wet because the paint hasn't completely dried, the under layer. So it helps me blend the layer underneath. I'm gonna add a little bit more orange. A little bit more pink here. A little bit more yellow here. Okay, I think I'm gonna add a little bit more intense pink in little areas. But now I'm using this part of the brush, so I only like put in a little bit, and that gives like kind of the illusion of like clouds and in the wind and whatnot. Now I'm just gonna add a little bit of more indigo for contrast. So again, with this part of the brush, I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of indigo for like to give it like a little more depth. And these look like clouds a little bit, like if you think it's a little much, then just kind of dry the brush and kind of pick up the paint. There you go. Perfect. Maybe a little bit more down here. Now just cleaning the brush again. I'm just gonna leave it kind of like that. This edge is a little bit too strong, so I'm just gonna pick it up. I think that's gonna be that. Maybe a little bit more yellow, like right here. Yeah. And maybe a little bit of, so that's a little bit too dry, so just a little bit of water, dry my brush and kind of go softly over it. That's it, really softly, that's it. So now that I have kind of this sunset look, let me pull up the camera a little bit. Okay, so now that I have this like sunset looking like bookmark, then I'm just gonna grab some of the indigo and I'm just gonna create like a little mountain or island or something like that. So like about down here where I have like a dark spot, I'm just gonna just go with the very intense indigo and just kind of, being that this is already dry, so I'm just gonna go over it like wet on dry and just create like a little mountain or something. So I think that's kind of it. I can add with a tiny little brush, I can add maybe some little birds. Maybe I'll just do a little bit more of a jaggedy little island mountain. And then maybe a boat. This kind of looks like water, so we'll just add a little Oh, too much. So I'm just gonna pick up the paint and just kind of do that. This kind of makes it look like water. And then maybe a few birds. There you go, little sunset bookmark. Okay, so that is it, and we created this cute little sunset with like a little boat and little birds, and I hope you guys liked it. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I do try to get back to you within like 24 hours, and you know, as soon as I get a message, I try to, you know, answer that. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, I try to post a video about every week or so. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where I post almost daily. And if you guys have any requests of things that you would like to see that maybe I did on Instagram, but you know, you wanted more details or more information on how I do it, then let me know in the comments as well. I will try to post the links on Amazon to the materials that I used. Some of the materials, actually, I bought them in Japan, so I will try to find them on Amazon. So the paints are these paints that are called Gensai. I have a whole video on Japanese materials that I bought here, like where I found these paints and the brushes as well. So if you guys want to check that out, it is on the Sekaido Art Hall. And also at Tokyo Hands, I buy a lot of materials as well. So if you guys want to check those videos out for the materials used, or I will try again to put them on an Amazon list. So until next time, thank you for following. Thank you for staying with the video. Okay, until next time, bye.